Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. We've got a Wild Watkins that says Casemiro to stay. Get it off the screen. Get it off the screen. I'm not having none of that. The topics on the table today, you've seen the images. The text was completely wrong. I've been mad busy, to be honest, trying to sort out this capture cam live link, whatever it is. I don't know if you think the quality is actually better or not. Why don't you tell me in the comments section? Because I've been working on it for the past hour and a half trying to sort it out. It is way too hot in England to be doing this kind of stuff. Even just sat here right now, I am quite literally dripping in sweat. So, yeah, look, listen. The topics, they're not gone on the screen. It is what it is. We'll move on. Don't worry about it. Ollie Watkins is going to be the main piece of today's show. Massive news coming out from Laurie Whitwell in The Athletic. I'll put a link in the description for the article that they posted. It's very, very interesting. So, Ollie Watkins among centre-forwards considered at Manchester United if Rasmus Højlund leaves. Full focus on Bryan Mbeumo deal, then outgoings, but work in the background on other targets in case of sales. Initially raised in talks over Marcus Rashford's proposed Aston Villa transfer. There has been contact between Old Trafford executives and their Aston Villa counterparts via intermediaries to explore the prospect of a deal as United weigh up several striker options. And I'll talk about the striker dilemma in a moment in terms of why we can't go for certain ones that we're linked with and what the difficulties are and how we kind of get past that. So, look, Ollie Watkins, on the face of it, this is a player who has been super consistent in the Premier League. He offers different qualities. Would you consider this a stopgap? Some might. You might put that out there when you consider his age. But if I'm to throw you something out there, if I'm to play devil's advocate, it is a United channel after all. If I'm to play devil's advocate, when Bayern Munich bought Harry Kane, were they particularly fussed? Do you think they're moaning at the minute? Now, I get Harry Kane slightly different because Harry Kane is guaranteed gold in it. Let's be clear about that. He is, whatever he's done. You talk about the consistency of Ollie Watkins, and I'll get into his stats in a second. The consistency of Harry Kane is just like, it's incredible in it, based on everything that he's done. So you kind of, you know what he was going to get with him. You knew he was going to just hit the ground running. If he's doing it in the Premier League, you're damn right he's going to do it in the German League as well. So, yeah, maybe it's slightly different in that regard, but he is 29. Nowadays, you know, I'm mincing my words. You can still see players like Lewandowski, for example, Bayer Leverkusen, Barcelona. Fuck me, my head's up. It's this heat. Honestly, it must be this heat because my brain isn't working. Let me try again, Nick. Fucking hell. Barcelona have a Polish striker called Lewandowski who is 35 years old and he's just scored 20 plus goals in the league. So, you know, depending on system and, you know, kind of teams and leagues, I think Watkins is quite an athletic player. He could probably go easy for the next 3-4 years, I would imagine, right? And he takes care of himself. So you would still get the majority of the contracts that you're going to give him. But then when you mention the word contract, that's where you go, well, what kind of contract is he going to want? Because what is he on at Aston Villa? Maybe this is probably something I should have researched before the show. Being a professional I am and all that. Excuse me. So, he's currently on, at the minute, £130,000 a week. He's still technically in his prime. He's not going to take less than that. He's going to want more than that. So let's say, on average, a bump up to around £200,000 a week for Ollie Watkins. Are you going to give that to a player? Are Ineos going to offer that to a player? Will there be incentives? It's not that far down the line yet, obviously, but you look at his overall stats in all competitions: 127 goals and assists in 223 appearances in all comps. He is Aston Villa's all-time Premier League top scorer with 75 goals in 184 Premier League games, and he's the first Villa player with 15 plus goals in 3 straight Premier League seasons. So there's no doubt about it. If you look at the table, like I just mentioned, past 3-4 years, Ollie Watkins is always there with goal contributions, there or thereabouts. You know, whether it's been under Unai Emery or whether it's been a previous manager, like, he has done it. So he's proven. Prem proven. And what are we buying at the moment? Ineos targeting Prem proven players. Mbeumo, Cunha and Watkins, you can't say you wouldn't. You'd say you sniff your nose up at that. That'd be a really, really good, solid, dynamic forward three. I could see that really, really working. But again, you have to question, would he, and this sounds, I feel stupid saying this, but would he come down from Aston Villa, they're playing in European football. I know not in the Champions League because of us, but I'm pretty sure they're in the Europa League. So would he come from playing in there with Villa to then dropping down to United, who's just finished 15th? Will just the status and maybe the wages play into that more? I don't know. It's an interesting conversation, isn't it? But when someone like Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic reports it, I tend to listen. So, yeah. Let's see what people are saying. Debasius Gandhi says, don't think Watkins is a fit. Maybe 3-4 seasons ago would have been something, but 60 million at 29 years old, I don't know. Flashfire says Gyökeres for probably just 20 million more. Gyökeres is also pretty much overpriced. Anywhere you go. What do we keep saying on this show? Every single time we talk about strikers, and it'll lead me into my next kind of bit. So, the number 9 dilemma that we've got in a minute. Rúben Amorim wants a reunion with Viktor Gyökeres, right? That would be his a priority. However, Gyökeres' priority seems to be Arsenal at the minute, and his bare fuckery going on at Sporting, right? So, Victor Osimhen's wages are viewed way too high. They're never going to offer a package for that because it just costs too much. Frankfurt are pricing Hugo Ekitike at around £85 million. So, what do you do? We've scouted Sesko before. We've looked at him, quite a lot. But Arsenal seem interested in him, and then it's another one that's going to cost you 70 million quid. Every single striker is going to cost you that amount. And the only one where it's overinflated, you would probably say, is Osimhen with his wages. Because if you buy Victor Osimhen, let's say it's around £65 million. I don't know what the release clause is with Napoli, or if it is, I don't know what it is, what the situation is. But let's say it's 65, similar to Gyökeres, £70 million, right? £350,000 a week is £1.4 million a month, which is, you're talking 15 million a year easy for his wages, and then over a 4 or 5 year period, you're paying that as well. That is a lot. That's a lot of cash. So Watkins, you could look at someone saying, well, that's a guarantee. He's putting up similar numbers. Maybe he's not the same kind of striker that you desperately need. Like I would love an Osimhen, but he's putting up similar numbers, and you can get him for less and probably less wages. So I think it's all about perspective and balance. But yeah, there just isn't a feasible striker at the minute. Unless Gyökeres, I still don't feel comfortable with. I know there are people there saying if he turns it around now, turn around, every now and then I fall apart, and I need you more tonight. Sorry, if he turns it around now and says, Manchester United, you were the guys. I want to come to you. Number one, don't worry about Arsenal. Never thought about it. You sat there thinking, nah. We briefed before the transfer window. Rúben Amorim, more to the point, briefed. Said it in an interview when he got asked about Gyökeres, saying, I only want players to come to Manchester United who want to play for the club. That's it. Who want to play for the club. That is put out there that he's Arsenal, you're my guys, I'm going to listen to you. Much like Cunha or Mbeumo have said to us, listen, you're the priority, I want to move to you. You guys go get the deal done. Very similar situation. Gyökeres, Arsenal, you're the priority. Even though Romano's come out and said, like, oh, actually, he's still open. He's saying he's not said no to United. He's just giving Gyökeres, like, for me, I'm sorry, I can't get it out of my head. You've chose Arsenal over us. So don't be backtracking now, making a U-turn. I know some of you guys right now will take Gyökeres. I know for a fact he would, but I'm telling you now, not for me. Maybe he comes in and maybe he scores fucking 50 to 60 goals, and I will hold my hands up and I'll say, do you know what? It's worth it. It's worth it. I don't care. But right now, as it stands, not for me. So I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to have to box clever. I've just seen the name Nkunku mentioned, right? I like Nkunku as a player. I loved him at Leipzig. I was saying United should have signed him when Ralf Rangnick was linking him with us. Loved him. He's gone to Chelsea. Systematically doesn't really suit what they're trying to do. He's not really number 9 as well. He was kind of half competing with Jackson. So again, context. But his injury record is horrific. You're talking like Luke Shaw levels almost. It's bad. So you want to stay away from that unless it's a loan. That's what I would say on that. So where do we go, people? I'm going to ask you lot. Where do we go with this striker? Who do we go and get? Everyone's a risk. Everyone's mega expensive. Tricky. Once more, Nick, says Lumen. Nope, I'm not giving you a rendition. Maybe a little bit later on. Maybe if we get 20 likes on the video, I'll do a rendition. Osimhen will only be possible if you get Sancho and Rashford out. They still won't do it. I'm telling you. Mateta seems a possibility, but his performances isn't great. Mateta, for me, is a good striker. I want a top-level striker. I think there's levels. I think you got Watkins and then Mateta. So if you're going to fork out 40, 50 million for Mateta, you might as well go and get Watkins. Mateta's never scored more than 14 goals in a league season either. Which is, I'm not saying it's not, he ranges 10 to 14 for 3 seasons, and then before that, it's kind of meh. So Mateta doesn't move the needle for me personally. If Ekitike is possible at 60, maybe. But I don't think they'll do it, Frankfurt. I think they will kind of repeat the point I've just made about the striker market at the minute, and they will go, yeah, do you know what? Look at the stats he was putting up last season. There is a huge ceiling for this player. Watching play is incredible. Why are we going to let him go for 40 million, 50 million, let's say, when all these other strikers, Sesko's about to go from Leipzig. If he joins Arsenal, that's going to be a big pay packet, 70 million quid, decent wages. So they'll just use that as kind of like a bargaining chip, I'm guessing. I'm not sat there in the room listening to negotiations, but one would probably guess that that's probably what's going to happen. Now, we're going to stick with Aston Villa. We spoke about Watkins. Aston Villa have confirmed they are not activating the £40 million buy option clause for Rashford. Rashford returns to Manchester United, and the £40 million price remains available for any clubs interested in Marcus this summer. And don't forget, people, we return to training in 7 days. For obviously building up towards pre-season and getting fitness right and running off those chip butties and stuff. I doubt the players have any chip butties, but Rashford, I'm telling you now, this will be a bold and a brave shout. I think Marcus Rashford is going to be with us on pre-season, and I think they might have to reintegrate him back into the squad, even though the manager doesn't want to, unless we pay a portion of his wages to go out on loan again. And if we do, we're mugs. We always seem to do it. So you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, really, aren't you? It's either, do you keep him at the club, undermine the manager, try push him back into pre-season, meh, or do you pay 100 grand of his wages per week for him to play elsewhere and do bits elsewhere? Another tough decision, people. Sticky situation, that. I don't want to see him personally back it. I think I've washed my hands with Rashford at the minute. I couldn't give less of a fuck like what he does with his career now. No will malice towards him. I just think it's just been a headache, hasn't it? I'll tell you what, when you reflect on it, the last 5 years with Marcus Rashford has just been a complete headache. Much like the transfers have, much like the outgoings and the players that we've signed, it's just been like, I can't be arsed anymore. Just go. Leave. And the same thing with Garnacho as well. Garnacho right now, I couldn't give a bollocks what happens. Sell him 40 million. Just fucking get rid of him. Because all these players who've got attitudes and social media fucking drama queens, I can't be bothered with. We've had it for years and years and years. Years. People ongoing, putting stuff on social media and moaning and just like, get them out of the club. But you can't. Because, do you know why? Because Murtaugh and Richard Arnold and Ed Woodward, in the past decade or so, have give out the most ridiculous, stupid contracts. That's why we can't get them out the door. And that's why we're struggling. And that's why I would say, out of Antony, Sancho, Garnacho and Rashford, I think 2 of them players are going to be on pre-season. Or thereabouts the squad. And then what do you do when the transfer window shuts? Are you going to keep those kind of players who are earning an eye-watering amount of money just in the pocket, sat on the bench? Just like, yeah, do what you're doing. They're not going to do that. So there will be a resolution one way or another, but I'm leaning more towards them probably staying for pre-season now, unfortunately. But so here's the way it is. All right, moving on to I'd say more positive news. I don't know if you call it positive or not, but Steve Railsden reported before that United are continuing talks with Brentford regarding Bryan Mbeumo. They would like to wrap up a deal for Mbeumo as soon as possible so he can report for the beginning of pre-season at Carrington next Monday. We also had their sporting director, because they did a press conference today with, is it Keith Andrews, I think, the new manager? Which is crazy, by the way, because obviously Thomas Frank has gone to Tottenham. They came out today and said, listen, and Bryan Mbeumo, whatever you call him, he's happy to stay at Brentford if the deal doesn't get done. So maybe a little bit of public pressure there on Man United to kind of say, listen, he'll stay if you don't give us the money that we want. The last bid, I believe, went in on Friday, right? It was like 55 plus 7.5 in add-ons, and that got rejected. Correct me if I'm wrong. So they want more money up front. They want, even though we paid for Cunha in installments, I think, like Klarna style, they want a lot of money up front. So I would listen to someone like a Kieran Maguire or someone when it comes to financials. I'm not sure how that would work with PSR and stuff, but that's why selling players is so important and so key. Players, like I've just mentioned, all of them, if you got them off the books, if you sent Sancho to Juventus, Rashford to Barcelona, Anthony to Real Betis, and Garnacho to a Premier League club, and you got good, solid cash for it and the wages off the books, fucking spend away. Maybe you can get an Osimhen, maybe you can get someone else. But we're going to struggle to sell again. So this is where we're at in a minute. Bryan Mbeumo will still get done regardless. There was 2 targets. It was going to be Delap and Cunha, I think. And now they've rotated to Mbeumo and Cunha, which is far better. I would have preferred that in the first place. So even though Delap was a good opportunity, and I do think he'll be a good striker, I'm happy with that. So get that deal done. And then it's like, when is the striker going to come in? When's the number 9 going to be done? It's going to take a good few weeks. And then don't forget, they've also mentioned midfield. They've mentioned wing-back. They've mentioned goalkeeper. What are we doing here? What are we doing here, people? Please do smash like the video, by the way. Subscribe to the channel. 17,869 subs at the moment. Joya Hoare says, Watkins had 17 goals and 14 assists, all competitions last season. Definitely a better upgrade than Højlund. At least 2-3 years of good football from him. That's what I mean. It's a good stopgap. United tried going down the path with Højlund of buying a young player and spent 70 million on him. Now, if I was to ask you the question, if you go back in time and you could spend the 70 million on Watkins, are you doing it? You're damn right you're doing it. Do we want to... I know it's a new model and new sporting director and a lot more methodical with the transfer market. Do you want to trust spending another 60, 70 million quid on a young striker, unproven in the Premier League, someone like... Hugo Ekitike or Sesko, or do you want to go get the Prem proven where it's not guaranteed, nothing's guaranteed in life, but it's certainly a better percentage of him being successful because he has done it against big teams as well. He's got a good record against big teams. So that's kind of the way you have to look at it and balance it out, for me, personally. Right, on to the next bit. So Johnny Evans has been appointed as Manchester United's head of loans and pathways, confirming the end of his illustrious playing career. He put a kind of a thing out about this, saying, I want to officially announce my retirement, not with sadness, but with pride, gratitude, and excitement for the next chapter ahead. I'll be forever indebted to the managers, coaches, staff, and of course my teammates that I've had the privilege of working alongside through my 20 years in professional football. My biggest and my most heartfelt thanks must go to the fans. That's us. And now I've lost where I was at. To the fans who supported me during every step of the journey, it's been an honour to be on the pitch and feel your passion home and away. I will be internally grateful for every ounce of support. I'm looking forward to working with the next generation of talented players to support them to reach their potential. And then there's a bit more, but I don't want to bore you too much. Jason Wilcox mentioned, having just finished his exceptional playing career, Johnny is the perfect role model for our young players. Johnny's knowledge of what it takes to succeed at Manchester United will be of great benefit to each of them as we continue to develop world-class talent capable of performing in our first team. Here's to shaping the next generation and building a stronger future. You just knew Johnny Evans was going to get a job at United, didn't you? I don't know how. There's always seemed to be that. I don't know what it is. Just that feeling that he was just going to... Because I think his missus works on MUTV, right? The Irish one. Forgive me, I don't know her name. But it just felt like, yeah, he's been a part of the club. He's played here twice. You know, in fairness to him, when Ten Hag brought him in, there was so many raised eyebrows. Everyone was like, Johnny Evans, is that the new... Let's be honest, a lot of people say, is that the new level we're at, having to bring a 35-year-old centre-back in who hasn't got a team? But he was there for us a lot of times, crucial times as well. I remember a performance against Aston Villa, I think, coincidentally, where he got man of the match, kept a clean sheet, was solid. I remember him coming on, I think it was at Anfield, alongside Varane, and he was just box defending. I think the game ended up being 0-0. We got battered, but it was like the box defending from them two was incredible. That was outstanding. You had the assist against Burnley as well for Bruno Fernandes, which was like Pirlo-esque. He had his moments, and also as well, he played a lot more games than he anticipated. He probably came into the team and thought, I am here if they travel to Azerbaijan and they play in the Europa League and Maguire's got an injury or something. Like, that's probably what he thought. But in reality, that season, I'm pretty sure he ended up playing about 30 games, you know. Let me have a look. Obviously, last season he probably played 2 or 3. Let's come up with the Buccaneers. Is he a player called Evans for the Buccaneers? Not into American stuff. So yeah, so he played. Actually, that's just in the Premier League, isn't it? I want to get all competitions. Let's see. When my internet decides to load. So he played. Was it last season? Yeah, it would have been last season, wouldn't it? 30 games, yeah, in all competitions. 23 in the Prem, 4 in the FA Cup, 2 in the Champions League, and 1 in the FL Cup. So I think he'll be pretty happy with what he's done during his time here. And that kind of role, to be fair, what they're going on about, what he's been given, it suits him, doesn't it? You think about his experience, you think about the type of player that he is, the educational kind of player, leader. Yeah, happy for him. So I can't say much more on that. I think he did. He kind of shut a lot of people up because the kind of the know-it-all clickbaiters, as soon as that came out, Johnny Evans, are you joking? And blah, blah, blah. But he did all right for us. He did all right for us. And played better sometimes than some of the most expensive players that we've had. So, yeah. TalkSport coming out saying United move Watkins is some as a possibility, however, nothing's advanced. Listen to me right now, and this is going to be the final thing I say, right? I don't want to end it on a sour note. And we put this out on our Twitter as well. And I just want to kind of reiterate this message. Okay, let me find it. Because seeing something like that from TalkSport, I just think there's so many publications and aggregators out there who they literally just wait for a tier 1. So Laurie Whitwell, for example, very good journalist. He doesn't put shit out there just for the sake of it. Like, he researches what he's putting out. Romano or Ornstein or any of those guys, right, they have concrete information a lot of times. Ornstein's number 1, but those kind of journalists, they have good information. What a lot of accounts do on X, they wait for a big account to put something out, like an article or whatever it is. So let's say Gyökeres now wants to go to Manchester United. David Ornstein's just released it, right? These accounts will just click on the article. They will take all of the article and then they will just spin it in their own way. My sources understand, this guy understands, blah, blah, blah. You've either just quoted someone, what they've said on Twitter, like a big journalist, span it your own way, or you're just waiting for a reaction. Like, honestly, the way the transfer market works is 90% of people know fuck all. And when you've been doing transfers like we have for a good few years now, you start to learn that there's a lot of people that speak bollocks in the transfer world. Problem is, he's going to be 30 in Premier League teams. We'll have young, athletic defenders. He's still bodying defenders, though. Like, he's still quality. Johnzo saying, if we pay more than 30 mil for him, I swear down, I quit. Who? 30 mil for who? Watkins? Mate, you won't get half. You won't get what Ollie Watkins like for that. If you run about Ollie Watkins for 30 mil, that is crazy. Anyway, I just want to do a quick transfer update show because obviously that Watkins news was just literally came out of the blue, out of nowhere, like Randy Orton always does. For any further updates, bottom right hand corner of your screen are all our socials: Instagram, X, and TikTok. Please do drop us a follow on there, whether it's clips that you want from the show, when a few of the other lads are on, whether it's sometimes you just clips, tactical analysis, transfer news, raw chicken at Old Trafford. Just, yeah. I'll put them on the screen, actually, just so you can see them. If it's still on there, I think it should be. Yeah, so they're all our socials. You got the TikTok on the left-hand side, X in the middle, and then Instagram on the right. Drop us a follow. Let us know where you're at. Drop us a DM as well. Anytime you want to talk about Manchester United, more than open to it. And I will check you. I'm going to go because it's so fucking hot. And I imagine that's why everyone's probably either sunbathing at the minute, having a twist or all that, just without a care in the world. And that's what you all should be doing right now. So I'll leave you to it. Appreciate